to life, right? How you look at a problem often informs the solution set. And when you look at it through a very narrow lens, a very specific lens that limits the potential solution, sometimes you leave a lot of options unavailable to you in the solution process. I'm going to take us through another tool right now, and what you see on the screen is a tool called Ambition Template, and it's used to really understand what is the problem that you're trying to solve and how can we visually express this. So I spend a fair amount of time with teams talking about how might we make the invisible visible. This is one way to think about doing that, right? So if you can imagine having a group of people in a room and asking them to align on what problem is it that they're trying to solve. How do we start to do that more effectively? And this is one way to make that visible. So it's a simple tic-tac-toe board with a frame around it, right? And you can change the axes to represent whatever you like. In this case, it's time horizon and scale of change. This could be speed or cost or global reach. All kinds of different metrics can show up on the axes, and that's not what's really most important because they're going to be specific to whatever your business needs are. What's most important here is that there's a way to frame up for people, what do you do with this? If I ask the question, what is it that you think we're trying to go after? Is it in this case change the game and do that immediately? Well, then I'd put an X in the bottom left box, right? Or I'm sorry, the upper left box. And only by making it visible to people to say, hey, are we all on the same page or are we not? Are you able to really converge on what the real problem is? What is it that you're going after? So as you think about problem framing, problem reframing, problem definition, all of these terms are often used interchangeably through the design thinking process. It's really important to understand where the users are coming from and how to get all of these options out on the table. So this tool, Ambition Level, is one way to do it. And you're able to do that visually such that everybody can see that, wow, maybe we're not aligned. Maybe these perspectives can invite a different conversation on what problem is it that we're really trying to solve in our business. So what I like about this tool is that it's quite easy to throw it up on a back of a napkin. You can throw it on a whiteboard. You can throw it on a flip chart. You can have people draw it on their Post-it notes at their tables and then kind of play back to you. Where are they thinking about this? You can number the 9 boxes and have them tell you exactly what that could look like, right? I'm in the 2 box, I'm in the 6 box, and suddenly you have a distribution of people all over, and then you can have a conversation around what problem is it that we're trying to solve. So these are some great tools you can use anywhere. You don't have to have the PowerPoint deck up to do it. The intention is to make it really portable such that you can do this wherever you are in the world and wherever you are when you're trying to solve a problem inside your organization. The next one that we're going to talk about is called Level of Abstraction. This is one of my favorites because the exercise we're going to do together is really grounded in helping you to think differently about kind of where things go as they become more and more abstract. So what I want to do is take you through an example. So this is a simple stair step that's on the screen now. But if you imagine at the bottom left stair step, wow, the very first phone that you remember having as a child, go ahead and draw that, right? Go ahead and draw the stair step up on your notebook or your computer. Take a moment and sketch that out. Then draw the phone, the very first phone you remember seeing as a child. In general, what I find is groups tell me, yeah, the first phone that they can recall is a rotary phone, right? With the little circles and you would spin around. And certainly the one in my grandma's house had this really long cord. You could wrap yourself all around the pole, or you could talk on the phone in the bathroom, or you could wrap up your sibling or your cousin in this cord. The rotary phones are kind of that baseline feature and function when we think about telephone communication. And then I'd like for you to draw what's next. What's the next phone that comes to mind? Generally, people play back that, oh, it's the phone that looks a little bit more like a trapezoid with the handle on the top. I call it the old hotel phone, but it has some buttons on it, right? And then what comes next? The cheeseburger phone, right? The trim line, the one that looks like a hamburger bun on the top with the cheese and then the burger base. So that's another iteration of the phone. So you can see over time from the rotary phone to the push button phone, to the cheeseburger phone, and at some point we'll make the leap to the wireless phone, the cordless phone. But the antenna that I had on mine was really long, and you could kind of battle with people, right? You can start to see exactly how this is showing up because things are getting more and more abstract. At some point, you get to the iPhone, right? And those iterations in between are really, really important, because if you're the person who was charged with making the rotary phone better, are you going to stop and think about, wow, can I imagine something as far out and as far-fetched as an iPhone? And when you think about what is the problem you're trying to solve and why does level of abstraction work, it pushes the boundaries of your thinking, right? So if you are asked to make the rotary phone better, are you looking for incremental progress, or are you looking for something a little bit more breakthrough? And so I find sketching out and imagining and pushing further and further out can be a really great way to think about, well, I don't know, what is the problem? Am I trying to just make it a little bit better, or am I trying to do something bigger? And if I'm trying to do something bigger, how far out can I push myself and my team to imagine where that could go? Because it invites a different solution. So rather than telephone communication, how might we create a completely integrated communication device that fits in your pocket, right?